Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we will be discussing Irrational Man. If you have not seen one of my movies review before, what I do is I'll give you a brief overview. I'll read some information provided by Google, actors, actresses, major themes. After giving you the overview, different people's reviews, just like the ratings, IMDb, I'll give you my own rating. Once I give you my own rating, there will be spoilers. I do spoilers in my movie reviews. So if you have not seen the movie and would like to for any reason that I say or don't say, you're going to want to shut off the video because we will be discussing the plot. Discuss any plot development or plot synopsis, just anything, major themes that jumped out at me. Sometimes I reference similar movies, but just a laid-back type of movie review. So we have Irrational Man, rated R. It was released in 2015. It is labeled as a comedy/crime movie. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes. 47% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and 3.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I watched it, and you can currently watch it on Tubi for free. Google says a philosophy professor at a Rhode Island college struggles with despair until an encounter with a troubled woman leads him to a morally challenging decision. And so it's directed by Woody Allen, and it stars Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone. Well, I like both the actor and actress, Joaquin Phoenix, Emma Stone, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And what makes a movie good to me is if it just keeps me entertained, right? It's a piece of art, it's a piece of someone's writing, right? And for a movie, right, the runtime that I typically like is right around 2 hours, 1 hour and 30 minutes just being short, anything past like 2 hours and 10 minutes being long. But so on the shorter end of movies, labeled a comedy crime, but basically it's just kind of a light-hearted commentary on philosophy. So basically, you have this philosophy professor. He's engaging in all of the behaviors that are stereotypical to philosophy: too much drinking, sexual promiscuity, and then trying to ask these big questions of life. And then you have Emma Stone as a student, trying, kind of infatuated with him. A couple other minor characters. There's another female psychology professor. Her character is Rita in the movie, Parker Posey, but kind of your stereotypes, and the overall tone of the movie is very lighthearted. So overall, I thought it was entertaining. I will give it a B, just a flat B. Because again, as long as you keep me entertained, I really don't care for a movie. It just, entertained me for a little bit. So overall, I thought that's what it was. And my rating scale is A, is well done, some novel concept, some really good cinematography, so on and so forth. B is the entertaining range. Most movies for there fall into that area. C is it just does nothing. It's like I literally have basically no thoughts. And D is like I'm actively off-put throughout the movie. And then F is if I turn it off or I leave the theater. So this is right there in the entertaining area for me. Nothing super philosophical about the writing or any big reveals or intricate thought. That doesn't even, like I said, intricate deepness to thought doesn't really exist for me, but just something new or novel didn't really present itself. So overall, B. If you've not seen the movie, we'll now be discussing the plot. So you open up, Joaquin Phoenix is drinking heavily. He's either going from one college to another or he just gets hired, but he's a philosophy professor. Drinking heavily, shows up at this new college. You have the Rita character, who's played by Parker Posey. She is his age, a different colleague, and immediately the sexual draw, the romantic draw to Joaquin Phoenix's character, Abe, is again, he's this deep thinker. And so immediately the Rita character, she wants to sleep with him. Emma Stone gives some commentary and narration talking about his different papers and whatnot. And there's no substance. Again, philosophy as a research subject to me, it doesn't even exist. And so, but that's kind of the stereotypes they're building the characterization around. And so they show up. Joaquin Phoenix has some erectile dysfunction, can't perform with Rita. So they kind of have some physicality going back and forth. But Emma Stone is also very infatuated with him right off the bat, and he kind of, keeps her at an arm's distance, not trying to get involved with a student. So you have some scenes of him teaching in the class, you have some scenes of him going to parties, and he's kind of, heavily into heavy alcoholic, and he's not really socializing. So Emma Stone, the student, tries to get him out of his comfort zone, takes him to a party, and they're sitting there, debating the will to live or something, not debating, but just a brief reference, and Russian roulette comes up. And so one of the people hosting the party, one of the younger people, the college-age kids, there's a gun there in his dad's safe or whatever, and Joaquin Phoenix is like, give me that. And so he plays Russian roulette, and again, the whole tone of the movie is very lighthearted, so it's not supposed to be, any of these scenes are not supposed to be serious. And so plays Russian roulette, doesn't blow his brains out, but is developing this relationship with Jill, Emma Stone's character, keeping her at arm's length, keeping it not physical for the beginning. And so he ends up fixing his ED and has a little fling with the Parker Posey actress's character, Rita. Again, that's his colleague. And so they kind of go back and forth. But then, Emma Stone's very coming on to Abe very strongly. And so he eventually kind of gives in. They go to a museum or something. It's her birthday and she really wants to sleep with him or make it physical. And so you see that development. And then one day, the major development throughout the movie is they're sitting at a restaurant or a little diner area, and they overhear people in the booth behind them talking about it's some middle-aged woman, and there's a federal judge or a state judge that has done something that's not good. And so I don't really know the background. It's just like he's giving bad rulings or whatever. The point being is Abe, the main character, Joaquin Phoenix, hears this and he has this, philosophical question of, if I can kill randomly and does overall good, right, is that an action I should take? And again, like I said, the actual philosophical content in real life is non-existent to me, so certainly nothing in the movie, but it's kind of entertaining. And so he just basically decides that he's going to kill this judge. He can get away with it because he's not connected to the judge at all. He has no real motive besides, he overhears them in this diner and he's going to do something good. And that's kind of, again, the philosophical question presented in the characterization. And so he ends up deciding to do that. Again, it's a quick little scene. He just switches a cup. I think, what is it, ricin, or again, it's a cliche literally in the movie, but just the most common poison, and I'm blanking on it right now, I can't think of why. But the major poison, you're probably anthrax. I think it's anthrax. But something doesn't have a smell to it, you can't really tell, you can just slip it into anything. The point being is he poisons the judge's drinking cup, and he's in the park, and he just kind of switches it to major public park. And the next day shows up and the judge is dead and the characters are dealing with the fallout. So Jill's character, again, it was just kind of this in passing, oh my gosh, did you see the judge we overheard being talked about? Now he's dead. And Joaquin Phoenix is like, oh wow, what are you talking about? So, and then Parker Posey, the Rita character, she throughout the middle and the end of the movie, she's not that big of a role. But she does, I would say the middle of the movie, she's not that present. Beginning and end, she certainly is. But regardless, she's definitely a major character. But she kind of gets this theory, is hey, one of the other kids sees Joaquin Phoenix getting this ricin or anthrax out of the chemistry lab. He gets the key from the Rita character. And so Rita has this kind of theory or thought or realization that in addition, because of Abe's profession and seeing him in this chemistry lab or from the other student, that he was the one that killed the judge. And so he is the one that kills the judge. The other characters don't really know that, but then they slowly start to develop or quickly start to develop that he is. And so basically from there, again, Emma, the Jill character, and Abe, they're fully involved romantically, but Joaquin Phoenix basically admits to Emma Stone, their characters, that he's the one that killed her. And so at first, Jill, she's not really convinced of it. She goes and talks to the other student about what happened, but she pieces together and has that realization it has to be Abe. So Abe comes out to her and says yeah, I killed her, or yeah, I killed him. And he's like, what do we do? What do we do? And so because the moral question was, if something bad doesn't happen, he's doing a net good. But then what happens is the police investigate and they pin the crime on somebody else. So Jill's character, or Emma Stone's character, Jill, her imperative is, somebody else, an innocent person is going to take the fall, and then, you've no longer done the net good, so to speak. And so she's pressuring Abe to tell the police that he was the one that killed them, or killed the judge, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it on Monday. And then so basically then he decides that to get rid of the evidence, he's going to tie up the loose ends and he's going to kill Jill. And so we get to the conclusion of the movie. He tries to like wrestle Emma Stone into like the elevator and like throw her down the elevator shaft, but in the struggle, he falls down the elevator shaft and dies. And so that's really the conclusion of the movie. Like I said, it's really lighthearted, it's kind of silly, but it kept me entertained. It's the short runtime, and I really liked Emma Stone and Joaquin Phoenix and a variety of the different movies they've been in. So that is what I have for Irrational Man, overall B. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.